Here's the brochure. We're talking about different types of cults. Last time, we talked about a different bunch. This time, we're going to talk about another different bunch, none of which are about religion. Let's hear what some of these types of groups are. And don't forget, you can get the brochure. It's free. Pass the word around. Let's go back and hear what other ones there are. Music is another one that is used as a focus. There are groups who promise to make you a musical success, who promise to bring you fame and fortune through music or through teaching you music. Martial arts are another type. Because the martial arts already have a more metaphysical aspect to them, they are especially susceptible. And because they are so, even legitimate dojos are very authoritarian. It is unfortunately easy for a sensei or other leader, teacher, to fall into the trap or deliberately move into an ultra-authoritarian stance where they start pulling more and more control from those people who are in their dojo. There are those groups that are focused on self-help. It is unfortunate, but there are indeed many destructive groups, many destructive cults, if you will, that work toward taking your control away from you by promising to help you learn how to help yourself. It's a dichotomy. It's a contradiction. But somebody who's looking to manipulate you doesn't care about the contradiction. They're interested in control. And so that's what they do. They use the ideology as the carrot of self-help. Encounter groups are another type where an encounter group, again, is supposed to help you, and yet it can become destructive. It can become extremely manipulative. And the leader can try and take and succeed in many instances in taking control of more aspects of your life than you ever imagined. There are, unfortunately, groups that are based in psychology. There have, unfortunately, been professionals, psychologists and psychiatrists, who've crossed the line from moving from a guide, which is what psychology is all about. What therapy is about is helping guide the client, guide you. From moving from a guide into moving into an authority leader, absolute leader position. One of the other ideologies used is parapsychology. Love this one. Because of the mystical bent, it is more easy, if you will, that's not really good English, but it is easier to draw somebody in to releasing a lot of inhibitions and a lot of their limits of tolerance, because, well, in order to experience this mystical experience, you have to let go. Dangerous. If you have a leader who is manipulative and extremely manipulative, it is another possible source of a destructive cult. It has the possibility of becoming a destructive group. There are groups, and they've been in the news. If you're old enough, you'll remember the Hale-Bopp Comet and Heaven's Gate. There are groups whose ideology is focused on UFOs. More than you would probably imagine. And that's probably true of all of these different types. More of them exist than you realize. There are magic groups. This is a little bit different than the parapsychology, which is based on extrasensory perception, clairvoyance. Magical groups are actually based more on practicing ritual, practicing different forms of magic as opposed to parapsychology. There are many groups who have magic as their ideology. The last of the 15 we're going to briefly discuss today is the philosophical groups, which I feel is so sad because philosophy, the actual meaning of the word, is a lover of wisdom. And yet when you end up being drawn into one of these groups, you lose all wisdom. You lose yourself. You can gain much wisdom from the experience, but during the time that you are caught up into this group, wisdom is not actually the goal of the group leadership. Wisdom is only a lure. But there are many groups which do use philosophical ideology in order to lure people into their groups. 15 different types that we've talked about today, and not a single one of these 15 is religion per se. You need to be aware, and you need to make those people you care about aware. Cults, destructive groups, extremist groups, and extreme manipulation, ultra-authoritarian groups, are not just about religion. All of them are, however, all of them are all about taking your autonomy, your self-control, your self-determination away from you. We'll talk about religion next time. See you then.